Electronic document management and integrated approach. So we are talking about keeping soft copies of every document and what are the procedures and safekeeping of electronic document management is all about the discussion in this video. So agenda is EDM, electronic document management in a nutshell, the life and the death of the document, the stakes of electronic document management project per se. So what are the things that needs to be taken into consideration? The electronic document management in a nutshell. Let us proceed with it. What does it address? It addresses a very common problem. It is why we are occupying documents in the physical format, because that occupies space, that has a serious concerns for depreciation. It might catch fire. Some mishaps can happen. Things can get misplaced. But in cases if it is an electronically stored, probably you can keep a copy of it somewhere else. And that's one of the easiest job to do around it. So it addresses a very common problem and a widespread problem thereby. Look, what is it? What I wanted to say in front of you. This wonderful lady with the tons of documents being piled upon her. Is it the pending work or is it the finished work that she has to do? But believe me or not, retrieval of a particular document, the document, becomes a Herculean task in this scenario. So yes, but also multiple distance geographical site collaboration needs on document. So you can access, if it is an electronic document management, you can access the document from any corner of the world, right? If it is connected to the server and the server is there on the net. So productive and competitive issues, many good reasons for electronic document management plan per se. Proposed definition, electronic system to acquire, classify, store, archive, and retrieve document. Please understand, electronic system to acquire, classify, store, archive, and retrieve document per se. How do we go across with it? So electronic system is to acquire, to classify, to store, to retrieve documents. What is an electronic system, to believe me so? There are no reference to the sizes. It is as big as a dog, probably as small as a dog. Now we look into the previous thing, which has a gigantic photograph of a dog. Probably that particular department can be occupying much lesser space with no short of meaning, no changes in the meaning thereby, and that is no reference to the size. Look, same with electronic document management. This dog of this size and this dog of this side both represent the dog. It's done electronically. That is what we are looking into it. The ScanFin project, Belgian Ministry of Finance, where there are approximately more than 1 million documents per year for any government per se, as the case might be. Now, habitation modern projects, publishing house sectors, it can be a private sector, build organizations is having a 50,000 documents per year, and see the magnum of job that needs to be decided upon, retrieved upon, classified upon, and so on and so forth. Remember, electronic document management is not restricted to large companies only. It can be done in a smaller size. Electronic system to acquire, to classify, to store, archive, and retrieve document. The minimalistic solutions of electronic document management. You have a user, you can scan the document and probably index it, store it, archive it, and probably retrieve it as on when on required. That's one of the best methods to do around it. I again reiterate, from user, a document needs to be scanned, it has to be indexed, it has to be stored, and probably for retrieving purposes you can always come forward to. But there are many other possible features too. Let's say, oh, how do we retrieve the documents thereby? Hard copies can be done in terms of taking a printout or a fax. It can be sent to a different geographic location altogether. The forms can be filled in, the invoices can be generated, the files can be done, it can be mailed all together. Where is the electronic documents? How do we go in? We have the Word file, we have the Excel file, we have the faxes via the servers, we have the emails per se. So see what is happening with the hard copy documents and electronic documents and how fast the retrieval or probably the accessibility has been happening around here. Let me focus on the death and the life of a document per se. Now you have the documents. This is what happens. You have the documents, you scan it out. Right. Or there's a document through the hard form which probably comes up. We need to extract the data and make a soft copy of it. Either way you want to do it. What are you doing? We are retrieving or storing it in one of the servers. As and when on require, we can come up with the resources as an output as and when required per se. So hard copy documents, scanning, what is happening with the recognitions as the case might be, then probably we are storing, and I have already elaborated, e-documents can be stored around there, e-forms can be done out here, indexing, classification, the metadata has been created, conversions, the hard copy format, the common format that is being retrieved time and again. And this is where enterprise resource management or customer relationship management or database management system are to be taken into account. So what are we talking about it? We are talking about record management. What we are talking about is we are talking about the workflows as on when on basis. Yes, there is a security to the document. Not everybody should be having an access to it. Even if somebody wants to access it, we can have firewalls created. We can put barriers. We can do encryptions. We can uh, absolutely have the highest of the highest security inflows. Then follows the navigation process, and probably the file management is what we are trying to establish. So hard copy documents, as a simple copy documents, are letterhead, probably promising certain tenders, awarding of tenders. It can be forms, it can be invoices, it can be mails, it can be files, it can be faxes, thereby which documents to be integrated. The question is this. In fact, I recommend that all the documents can be integrated. In scanning is what we are looking into. We're talking about volumes. We're talking about converging into image file, TIFF file or DEF file, PDF file, automatic automatic batch and documentation separation, blank page detection, 90-degree, 180-degree rotation. The documents can be rotated all together. Recto verso, colors, bitonal, grayscale. We can change the grayscale, the background, so that whatever is written on the document comes out very clearly. It's very much readable, accessible, understandable. Image quality improvement, contrast, dust, scratch removal, auto cropping and alignment, ideal qualities and volume ratio thereby. So which functionality do you need? I recommend everything. Every of the functionality that comes around here. Now comes the recognition, turning images into text. OMR, optical magnetic responses, right? Mark recognition if you want to go around it. OCR, optical character recognitions, as in the printed text. The structured forms areas are clearly defined. Intelligent character recognition is the handwritten text that we speak of. Free forms, similar documents, but undefined structures, invoices, as on when on basis. So which technologies do you think you require? I recommend every one of them. So storage and archiving is something which needs to be done. So what about the volume of storages? What are the technologies that needs to be performed around it? The online version, the offline version, the nearline version. What is nearline version? Within the intranet. It's not internet, intranet. Within the companies, it can be accessed. Media, tapes, hard disk, security, non-writable, writable. You name it. What are your critical requirements? I recommend every flexibility. Everything is a critical requirement, because the more options you have, the more flexible you can be. Electronic documents, let us talk about it. It is your emails, it is your Word file, it is an Excel file, it is the images, faxes via the fax server. What can be integrated? I again say everything can be integrated. Don't you think so? Definitely yes. Instead of doing data of scanning it, we can always input the data in the electronic forms altogether. What are we looking into is equivalent of the paper form, structured, e-government, electronic signature, e-commerce, blanks, insurance companies, as on when on basis. So which might be the potential application of the e-forms as the case comes around here? What might be the application? And that is the big question. Believe me, applications are plentiful. The most and the best usages, you can apply it from anywhere around the globe. If it is done on the net, everybody can have an access to it. So it rationalize everything. It liberalize from any kind of contraction or information hiding or shielding per se. Indexation and classification, full text indexation, metadata, date, author, document type, topics. We have structured areas, we have non-structured areas, manual and automatic, based on bars. Thesaurus structured list of keywords with synonyms as the case might be. On what criteria do you want to retrieve documents? That is the big question. Why we look into it? Conversions. This is where we need to understand if it is done in an Acrobat format, multiple viewer format, the software, the conversion software, the strategic aspect. What is the lifetime of the format that comes around here? Do you need a common format? Answer the question. I repeat, yes. So interaction with other application in terms of ERMS, ERP, CRMS, and DBS. What is ERP? Enterprise Resource Planning. CRM, Customer Relationship Management. DB is a database. It can be a system, application, and processes, SAP, accountancy, electronic data interchange, interface, piloting, EDM, electronic document management application, application form, and ERP. This can get much more complex and intricate. Do you need such interactions? With what application is the question? Record management. EDM management is the rule of the game. Comes on the top of the EDM system. EDM, I repeat, is electronic document management. Compliance with the certification as far as the ISO 9000 series are concerned. Compliance with the legal constraint, Sarbanes Oxley in USA, the big scam that came around it. File plan, common indexing policy for the whole organization, managing lifetimes, tracing the history of the actions taken on a document per se. Every time it has been retrieved, it leaves a footprint onto it. Every time it has been changed, it tells you when it has been changed or edited as on when on basis. So how far do you need to go for the record management? Workflows, very important, absolutely important, because it's a series of tasks related to an information item. It is all about creating, it is all about indexing, it is all about approving, it is all about rejecting. So yes, it is useful when multiple users deal with multiple tasks, probably steps, document workflow, production workflow, ad hoc workflow, attachment, documents of files, batches of document, traceability of history of action, as the case might be. Do you need a simple, complex, or no workflows as the case around here? So what is the security that we keep on talking about it? It is the hardware connectivity, reliability and interconnections of firewalls, access of rights and confidentiality, the disaster recovery system as on when on basis. Security is often more expensive, and how critical is it for you? Believe me or not, it is very vital for a business to survive and probably to customer to trust. So if your data, if the data of the customers are not secured, probably customers is not going to give you the business altogether. Navigation searches for metadata, full text searches need optical character recognitions, navigations through folders and subfolders, document files, related documents, compliance with the access right policy per se. Do you require complex searches? Say yes, and probably you to go around it. What how complex it can be? It can be given a certain criteria. It can be a text search. It can be in data searches. Then we talk about the file management. File is batch of documents related to an issue. Example, medical file. Example, insurance file. Example, finance file. Example, a particular month's file. Hierarchy of files and subfiles. Static files similar to the hard copy. Dynamic files based on the criteria of one document and several files per se. That is what we need to go around here. A document can belong to multiple files, multiple access format as the case might be. So do you work with your files in a current document system? Probably yes. The answer would always be yes. Let me come back to the original slide that we started with it. Yes, I have explained every intricate part of this particular image file that have been displayed. So electronic document management is equal to variable geometry technology. All aspects should be carefully considered at a very early stage, and that is very true. Now let me give the stakes in the electronic document project. Economic aspect, what are they? Solution will give an improved image of the organization. Let's say immediate access to the information, avoiding tasks with relate little or no value. That's encoding altogether. Repetitive task avoided. Shorten or accelerate process workflow. Reduce postage cost. Retrieving a paper document as on when on basis. We have the human and the organization aspect that needs to be taken into consideration. The electronic document solution will, I repeat, will give you the required cultural change, way the people work, improve ergonomics aspect of information access, enrich job description with high value added tasks, make control easier. Example, how often is a document accessed as such? Now we talk about the legal aspects. What are my legal aspects as far as electronic document management is concerned? The possible solution is it is can we have an integrated with the electronic signature? Keep a trace of human electronic alteration on the documents. Every time it has been retrieved, can it leave a digital footprint? Every time a document is edited, can it leave a digital footprint? Guaranteed a long-term archiving, as in the PDF format is concerned. I'll come to the ecological aspect. Yes, electronic document management is very sustainable. It reduces the volume of produced paper, and in other words, it saves a lot of trees. In other words, translates into a lot of ox, consumption of carbon dioxide or removal of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. That translates into lowering of the temperature of the world. And there are plentiful of benefits, reducing the volume of circulating papers, the workflows, reducing the volume of warehoused paper per se, as the case might be. The scientific aspect here, how do we come across with it? The electronic document management allows leveraging the most important aspect of any organization. What is that? Knowledge. This is the most important thing. Organizing data related to a project in a structured way, stimulating a distant or even a cross-border collaboration on a project. Absolutely, people can be located at different location, even cross-border, different countries, different continent, and they can collaborate on the project with equal enthusiasm and with equal energy and with equal amount of contribution from either of the end. So finally, I would love to say that electronic document management is much, much more than what you think. Consider every aspects of the integrated logic. Electronic document management is not only restricted to the large companies or for the federal government. Look at the return on investment. Don't spend, invest. Rely on solid partners, as I keep on saying around it. With this, I come to an end of this particular process altogether. I hope you have liked this video thereby. Thank you very much.